everybody for coming out on a messy day. It's an awful mess. Frankly, though, we need the rain. If I'd have known that my announcement was going to bring rain, I'd have done this a lot earlier. But it's great to have all of y'all out here with us today and for this special occasion for us, and I do appreciate it. I want to point out a couple of folks before we get started, a couple of key folks that are here. Our 5th District Commissioner, Levy Maddox, is over here from in Newton County. Levy's doing a great job. Our brand newly minted Commission Chairman is just walking in back here, Keith Ellis. Keith, nice to have you with us. It's a real pleasure working with Keith and Levy on the County Commission, and we are able to do some things that we haven't been able to do in the past, and so we're moving the county forward, and I appreciate the chance to be able to do that. Also, one of my good friends, former State Representative Steve Davis, is here. Steve. And everybody else, in all seriousness, on a very messy, cold day, we appreciate you being here. Let me introduce somebody that's very special to me, obviously, and my bride of 25 and a half years, I better get it right. My bride of 25 and a half years is standing here beside me. Susan puts up with my politics, and she's about as apolitical as I am political, so, but it's great to have her support. You know, those of you that are in office, that have been in office, know you couldn't do this without the support of your spouse. So she has been there for me, and I appreciate it. And our daughter's not able to be here today. Catherine is 21. She's working full-time. She's a nanny for a special needs child, and is studying special ed, so she wants to do that for her life's work. So we're real proud of her. She lives over in Madison. She's getting married in September. She'll be 22, and she's found her a fine young man, so we're looking forward to having him in our family. So thank you for being here. To the former 2nd District Commissioner, Ronnie Dimsdale, who just walked in. Thank y'all for being here today. I wanted to just tell you, we'll start off, we'll cut to the chase and tell you that I plan to be a candidate for the 10th Congressional District seat being vacated by Paul Brown. We look forward to a great race. It's going to be a lot of fun. I enjoy and am excited about this race coming up, and look forward to it. Now, why am I running? This is a dark time for our country, folks. This is a very dark time. I think we're probably in the biggest mess we've been since the Civil War, with this left-wing administration that we have in Washington. And now they're free of any election. They can do anything they want to do now. 51% of the people decided that there'd be no more election hindering. So we need to send somebody to Congress, and we have hope that we can turn the ship of state around as long as we send people to Congress who will work in that direction. If we don't send people to Congress that won't do that, then we have no hope. We're done. So that's how crucial the 2014 elections are. We should, historically, pick up seats in the House and maybe win the Senate, where we can start to turn this thing around. But it doesn't help to have Republicans in office if they don't act like Republicans. You got to go up there and you got to do the same thing in Washington that you say you're going to do here in Georgia and in the other 49 states, and that's where I come in. Ronald Reagan used to say, when we Republicans talk in pastels, we have ideas that sound a lot like our opponents' ideas. People don't vote for Republicans. Why should they vote for Republicans when you sound like a Democrat? In order for Republicans to get elected, he said, we have to talk in bright colors. We have to talk in clear ideas, and we have to come across with common sense solutions to our problems. And that's what I'm going to do. I like to say I'm a combination of the best ideas of Ronald Reagan, Jim DeMint, Allen West, and Paul Brown. You roll all them into one, you've got a pretty conservative ball, folks. And that's where I am. And I did a radio interview this morning out of the Athens radio station, WGAU. And he said, well, you talk a lot about Ronald Reagan, but a lot of people don't know who Ronald Reagan was now. And my answer was, nobody since Ronald Reagan has equaled his stature. So if we can take his legacy to Congress, then everybody will know who Ronald Reagan was. And Ronald Reagan, by the way, on Tuesday had his 102nd birthday. His 102nd birthday, so happy birthday, Mr. President. There's 4 things that I want to work on when I'm in Congress, 4 key elements that we're going to work on during this campaign that I want to work on while I'm up there, and then a couple other things as well. Number 1 is economy. we have the most dysfunctional, out of control economy that we've ever had in this country. $1 trillion plus excess spending every year. That's got to stop. Where's all that money coming from? It's coming from China. The Bible says the lender owns the borrower. So you know who owns our debt and you know who owns this country. It's the People's Republic of China. We need to not have the debt ceiling go up anymore. I will not vote to raise the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling going up is nothing but a blank check for Barack Obama and the Democrats. We got to stop doing that stuff. We got to stop raising taxes. Everybody that makes a salary, gets a check, saw their check in January was lower than it was in December because the payroll tax went up. Nobody up there would stop that, would reinstitute George Bush's tax cuts at the end of last year. And so everybody's paycheck was smaller in January than it was in December. The government just sucks money out of the economy. There'll never be any relief that way. You cannot tax yourself into prosperity. You cannot borrow yourself into prosperity. It doesn't work. It's like using one credit card to pay off another credit card. You've still got credit card debt. It's still there. I am very much in favor of a fair tax. The fair tax is exactly what it says, a fair tax. You'll bring in more money with a fair tax than you do with the income tax because now the entire economy is paying their taxes. The underground economy, the people who are not paying any income tax now get earned income credit. We actually pay them not to work with earned income credit. Fair tax brings all of them into the tax-paying public now, and we bring in more money than we've ever brought in before. I'm also for a balanced budget amendment. This state has to balance its budget. I spent 6 years in the state senate here. Every single year we balance the budget. When you have to do it, you'll do it. The only way we're going to do it is have a constitutional amendment to balance the budget in Washington and get it under control. The last time we had a balanced budget, who was in charge of writing the budget? Newt Gingrich in the late 1990s. And they couldn't stand it until they got rid of it. Newt Gingrich was the last one. Bill Clinton takes credit for it, but Bill Clinton would have never in this world had a balanced budget without Republicans controlling the House and Senate and acting like Republicans. I'm also in favor of repeal of Obamacare. That's going to be the biggest drain on our economy of anything yet. The story's out the other day of the average family of four is going to cost them $20,000 a year for health insurance under Obamacare. And what did the president say when he was selling that snake oil? No, your taxes are not going up. No, you don't have to buy this insurance. No, you don't have to do this. He reminded me of an old guy with a sutler's wagon in the Old West, clanging along, coming down the road, selling that old crazy snake oil. So we need to get rid of Obamacare. So that's how we're going to get control of the economy. Number 2 issue. The Second Amendment is under direct assault. I was Georgia Carey's Senator of the Year, their first Senator of the Year in 2008, because of my strong support for the Second Amendment. If you can get rid of the Second Amendment, you can get rid of the First Amendment. And you can get rid of the other 8 amendments in the Bill of Rights. Liberals never bite off the whole elephant at one time. They always go one bite at a time. Right now it's let's do background checks, and right now it's let's do 10-round magazines, and let's do this and let's do that. The only thing that stands between freedom and tyranny in this country is a well-armed citizenry, folks. That's the only thing that stands between us, and they can't stand it, and they're going to do everything they can to get our guns. Well, this congressman, when I go to Washington, will not put up with that. This congressman will vote for the Second Amendment every single time. Item number 3. The fact that we are not energy independent is criminal. We have more energy resources in this country than any other country on the face of the earth. And there is no other country on this earth that refuses to use its own resources like we do. We have more shale oil in the Mountain West than Saudi Arabia has oil. North Dakota is booming because they're drilling all over the place up there, but only on private land. The federal government won't let them drill on their land. So they're drilling on private land, and it's still a booming economy up there. Coal. The federal government's doing everything it can to put West Virginia out of business, to stop using coal, even with all the clean burning techniques that we have these days. They're trying to put the coal companies and the coal users out of business. Natural gas. All of those need to come into play. The Keystone Pipeline Here we have our friends in Canada trying to send oil down our way that can be refined on the Gulf Coast for gasoline in this country. And the President of the United States and his radical EPA refused to give the permits to build the last segment of that pipeline in Nebraska. No other country in the world does that. We only penalize ourselves so we can send millions and billions of dollars overseas to kings and potentates that don't like us, but that our president bows down to. The fourth item is a strong military. We have to have a strong military in this country. It is not a left-wing social laboratory. It is designed to fight and win wars, nothing more, nothing less. We cannot commit it to a war that we're not going to win. It's time for us to get out of Afghanistan. All we've done there is kill young men and women. And the country, the president there is so corrupt that all he's doing is putting our money in his pocket and criticizing us almost on a daily basis. He literally bites the hand that feeds him almost every day. Well, I say it's time to cut him loose and let him sink or swim on his own. There's no amount, we could stay there 50 years and we still wouldn't have any more control of the countryside than we have right now. It's time to get out of Afghanistan and use our military where it's vitally needed, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. Only time we ever should use it is where vital national interests are at stake. Now, a couple other issues besides those four. I'm 100% pro-life. Every election that I've run in for the House and Senate, the 8 years I was there, I was endorsed by Georgia Right to Life, and I look forward to having their endorsement again. Stand with Israel. I'm also 100% standing shoulder to shoulder with the people of Israel. They are one of the very few true, reliable friends that we have in this world, and certainly the only free country in the Middle East. Particularly with Egypt now, and the President of the United States is sending our most advanced weapons to the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. M1 tanks and F-16 fighters. And you know who's in Egypt today? Ahmadinejad from Iran, visiting Egypt for the first time. And here we are, maybe those tanks and those airplanes are moving right past him while he's there. That is insane. That is absolutely insane, folks. And on immigration, Barack Obama selling that snake oil again about, well, let's do this amnesty. It's not really amnesty, but let's provide this path to citizenship, and we'll get control of the border. No, sir, Mr. President. You get control of that border first, and you seal that border down, and then we'll talk about the rest of it. Then we'll talk to these illegal immigrants who we're not going to reward for illegal behavior. We'll tell them, you go home and you get in the back of the line at the U.S. Embassy and you apply to come to this country legally. And that's where the military can come in as protecting our vital natural interests, is put them on that southern border and seal that thing up. You would just be stunned at what comes across that border right now. It is wide open. People, farmers, American farmers and ranchers that own that land can't use their own property because of the drug cartels in Mexico, that sort of thing. If we want to use the military, get them out of Afghanistan and put them down there on the southern border. So let me sum it up for you, folks. If you want a congressman who wants to get this economy under control, if you want a congressman who will not raise the debt ceiling, if you want a congressman who will not raise taxes, I'm your man. If you want somebody that's in favor of the fair tax and will vote for that constitutional amendment and get rid of the 16th Amendment, I'm your man. Amen. Get rid of Obamacare, I'm your man. Amen. We're going to get rid of Obamacare one way or the other. If you want somebody who has a proven track record of protecting the Second Amendment, I'm your man. The same thing goes with energy resources. If you want somebody that will shout it from the mountaintops that we need to start using our own resources and become energy independent and cut that lifeline we have in Saudi Arabia and Venezuela, two countries that can't stand us, then I'm your man. And a strong military, with my military background, being a retired officer, I'm your man on that as well. Stand with Israel, seal that border, and take care of this country, folks. That's what we're going to do if I go to Washington. And I promise to you that I will do exactly what in Washington that I say that I'll do right here in Georgia. No ifs, ands, or buts. So I want to close with this today. Todd Beamer, the hero of Flight 96, in United Airlines Flight 96 on 9/11/01. The last words that he used that we know about, that I'll use today, is let's roll.
That's right.
Let's roll. Let's roll this right on through Election Day and be successful with this thing. Let's take it to Washington. Let's make them understand that they get a package deal with me, Ronald Reagan, Allen West, Paul Brown, and Jim DeMint. All come back. I don't know how Allen West got beat in his district, frankly, but they'll get that with me, and we will make a mark on Washington that will make the people of the 10th District proud. Thank you all for being here. God bless you. God bless America. If anybody's got any questions, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Yes, sir.
What's the best way to see John Douglas elected for president? What can we best do to see that happen?
We're going to put together a ground game of volunteers that can help us with various and sundry things, phone calls, anything that we can come up with. We're going to be out and about. I'm off to a county Republican Party meeting tonight outside of Newton County, my first trip outside the county on this campaign. But there's going to be a lot to do, and we can, if you just email me or whatever you want to do, and I can get your name on the list and call on you. But 25 counties in this district. The district runs from McDonough in the west all the way to the Savannah River in the east, Lincoln County, northern Columbia County. And in the north from Barrow County, Winder, all the way down to Hershey-Walkerville, I call it, in Johnson County, down south. If you rank order the counties in Republican vote, the biggest county is Walton, Oconee, and Gwinnett. The eastern third of Gwinnett are the top three. Newton is number 7 on the list. Henry is number 4. Oh, Gwinnett is number 3. It's number 4. That's right. So the population has shifted in this new district to the western side of the population on the western side of the district here. Gwinnett, Walton, Newton, Henry. So we're right here, and I've represented 7 of those counties already in my House and Senate career. So I look forward to getting out and about. I've got several key endorsements already that I'm real proud of, and we'll publish that at the appropriate time. But you're going to see me everywhere. The symbol of my campaign has always been a pair of track shoes, folks, and I've got them on and I'm ready to go. If you're going to run against me, you better buckle your seatbelt and put on your helmet, because off we go. Thank you. And that's the same way I'm going to do in Washington. People in Washington better buckle their seatbelt and put on their helmets, because here I come. Any other questions? Well, I hate to cut you loose and turn you back out for a nasty day, but again, thank you all so much for being here, and we look forward to a great marathon campaign. Thank you very much.